So NBA young stars. Right now, the two biggest NBA stars out there, in my opinion, are Luka and Ant-Man. I think Luka and Anthony Edwards are the two biggest young stars in the NBA as of right now. Both are in the conference finals, both playing well, both are the leaders of their teams. You know, Luka was top 3 voting for the MVP, and Luka's been in that conversation the last couple of years. Anthony Edwards, I think Anthony Edwards has a real good shot. It's I mean, all NBA is going to come out. I think it's Wednesday, and we're going to find out who's all NBA. Should Anthony Edwards, number one, should he be on it? Because I think Luka's got to be on it. So I think Luka's got to be on first team all NBA. He's only 25 years old, and he is dominating. I mean, if you're third in the MVP voting, how are you not going to be first team all NBA? So there's that. So I think Luka is going to end up being that. Now, when we talk about other stuff, let me fix this over here real quick. But who's going to be the other guard? Is it going to be SGA, who finished second in MVP voting, or Anthony Edwards? And is it a catastrophe if Anthony Edwards is second team all NBA? You know, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. You know, you see these 4 guys there: Anthony Edwards, Luka, Jason Tatum, and Haliburton, all young stars, all leading their teams. We talked about this a little bit yesterday. I like where the NBA is headed. I like that there's a new batch of young stars that are out there that aren't afraid, that are not afraid. And the conference finals, we're going to see some stuff that I don't think that a lot of people thought. I know nobody thought that these 4 teams were going to be the last 4 remaining. I know nobody thought that. But for me, I like it. And I think as a fan's perspective, I think a lot of fans like it too. Bringing in new blood. You know, it's not that we want to run the old guys out. We're not trying to push them out the door, you know, but we like seeing new blood. You know, let somebody new win this thing. And although Dallas and Boston have won an NBA title before, when was the last time? I mean, Boston, what was it, 2010? 2008? Something like that? Dallas, 2011? So it's been a minute. So it's good to see. We're going to see what the ratings look like, but I hope everybody comes out and watches. So I hope everybody comes out and watches. So, and I'm sorry, Braden. My man Braden says that Wemby needs to be talked about with the young stars. No, he doesn't. Not with these 4. He hasn't accomplished enough. So Wemby doesn't need to be talked about with those guys. He's done. His team was one of the worst in the league. Now, you're not saying that's his fault. I'm not blaming him, but it was. These guys are the stars of the NBA right now. Wemby can get there, but as a rookie, come on, man, let's be serious. Let's be serious. These guys are going to be all NBA players. Edwards, Luka, Jason Tatum, and Haliburton, they're all going to be all NBA players. Wemby is not. So we got to start there. So, but we'll talk. We'll get Wemby again. We don't have to rush everything. I think that's what people get so enamored with, is that we have to rush everything. Wemby is not a top player in the NBA yet. And when I say he's not a top player, that doesn't mean that he's not good. It just means he's not one of the top players in the NBA. He isn't. But that's okay. He doesn't have to be as a rookie. He doesn't have to be. That's all. So that's all I'm saying, man. Hold on. We got somebody over here that Brunson is good, but Brunson's not in the class of these guys. Brunson's a good basketball player, but he's not in the class of these guys. And, oh, yeah, that's right. You're the guy who said that KD was washed. Hey, he's back, people. He's back. The guy that was averaging 27 points a game, shooting 52%, that guy was washed. I forgot about that. He's back. He's back. We'll just leave him to his devices. So we'll leave him to his devices, and we'll go from there. Either way, these are the young stars of the NBA. I like it. I definitely like it. I appreciate it. I appreciate these guys. And there's going to be more. There's going to be more of these guys up there. You know, Wemby isn't in the conversation yet, but he's going to be there. But I just don't think we have to rush it. So we don't have to rush him being there yet. My man Wakan, nope, I'm not high on Darius Garland. Nope. As a matter of fact, if Cleveland could trade him and get a bigger guard, maybe not as explosive, but a bigger guard to be with Donovan Mitchell, they would do it in a heartbeat. I'm not high on Darius Garland. I'm not. Now, what it looks like is that Donovan Mitchell is not going to be in Cleveland next year because I don't think there's any chance in hell that he re-signs with them. But he might, because they can pay him the most money, so he might say, you know what, I'm just going to stay. But they can't win a title the way that they're configured right now. They need a taller wing scorer to go with Donovan Mitchell. They need somebody, but you're not winning in today's NBA with two guys 6'2" or shorter as your two main guards. That's just not going to happen. And that's what's going on in Cleveland. So that's just not going to happen. But we'll see. But I like these four. You know, and again, they're in the conference finals. And it doesn't mean they're the only people. That doesn't mean that they're the only four that are young stars. But at the top of the profession, as of right now, throw in SGA, these are the guys. So that's just where it is right now. What do you think with Luka, and just specifically with Luka and Ant-Man? Because they're going to be going head to head. Who's the bigger star right now? In your all's opinion, who do you think is the bigger star right now? So I think it's Luka is the bigger star, but I think Ant-Man is right there. And here's what I will say. If Minnesota beats Dallas in the conference finals, Anthony Edwards will surpass him. He will surpass him. Because as much as we like Luka, you know the one thing that Luka does that turns, number one, it turns me off, it turns a lot of fans off, is the constant whining. The constant whining. Now, look, if we despise LeBron, and that's what most of you, I shouldn't say most of you, a lot of you people out there that despise LeBron, what is the first thing you say? He's a crybaby. Oh, he whines, he flops. There is no bigger crier in the National Basketball Association than Luka Doncic. There is nobody cries more than Luka. Nobody. Not Karl Anthony Towns, not LeBron. Nobody complains to referees more. So that's that. So that's the one thing that drives me insane about Luka. Not running back on defense, crying to the refs, constantly doing it. At some point, man, let some stuff go. So that's the thing with Luka. You know, and he doesn't play defense, but he's not a defensive player. So I get what you're saying, Wakan, that he crying and doesn't play defense. I don't think he's a good defensive player anyway, but at least he's been trying a little bit lately. At least he tries to get in the way, because previous years, he wouldn't even get in the way. Like, he didn't even try to get in the way. He just go on by. Hopefully you missed the shot. But that was it. At least now he's trying to get in the way. So, Anthony Edwards, though, with his personality, I love it. So, and then we got people, he has the second highest defensive rating among point guards this season. Please miss me with the nerd stats. I know it's important to nerds that don't understand basketball, that don't watch basketball, or when you do watch basketball, you just think, oh man, what's his defensive rating? Versus actually watching and saying, man, he doesn't keep anybody in front of him. I mean, Lord have mercy. Look, these analytics have a place, but if you can't just sit there and watch a basketball game and see that Luka doesn't guard anybody, I don't know what else to tell you. I literally don't know what to say. And I won't even try to fight it anymore. I used to try to fight people on it, and oh, you don't know what you're talking about. That's just wasted energy. It's just wasted energy. If you can't just sit and watch a basketball game and say, yeah, Luka doesn't play good defense. He's not a good defensive player at all. He can't keep people in front of him. If you can't just watch it and say that, then I won't even engage because it's a ridiculous conversation to have. So it's just a ridiculous conversation to have. Jiminy Christmas. But hey, there's a place for that, I guess. I guess watching actual basketball, that has now taken a back seat to nerd analytics. To me, it's never. I like I said, I know analytics has a place, but actually watching games is going to mean way more than what any nerd analytic is going to tell you. That's all. That's for me. Maybe that makes me old school or whatever. And if it does, it does. I watch the games and I know what I see. Period. End of story. So that's all I say. I respect Luka, but not a fan. The man can't play defense. I mean, he doesn't even really try. So you're right. You're right. So, but I like Anthony Edwards. I like Luka. Right now, I think Luka's the bigger star. Right now, I believe Luka is the bigger star. But if Anthony Edwards, if they win these conference finals and they go to the NBA finals, Anthony Edwards will have surpassed him. Anthony Edwards will have surpassed him. So that's just my personal opinion. Yeah, Capone. I used to like arguing with stat masters. So, but they refuse to believe. Like when you're talking to somebody that is in love with the nerd analytics, you have to respect the nerd analytics because they mean something. You have to respect it. But on the flip side of that, they refuse, and I mean refuse, to believe what their eyes are telling them when they watch a basketball game or a football game. They just won't even take it into consideration what you're actually watching. They don't believe in any of that. Nope, that's not what that means. What do you mean it's not what that means? That's literally what happened. It doesn't matter. The analytics say, I'm like, oh my God. They refuse to believe that you can make numbers look like anything you want them to look like. It's just, these are the numbers. That's it. End of story. End of discussion. And that's why I don't have conversations with them anymore, because they refuse to look at the other side. They won't even consider it. Like it doesn't exist. So, but oh well. Yes, analytics help, but it's like AI. You can't predict the true emotion of the moment. So that's my thing. You just can't. You just can't. But it is what it is. Everything has a place, man. Everything has a place. So we can't all knock it until we try it. So there it is, Braden. There it is. Analytics people don't believe in momentum. They not only do they not believe in momentum, they don't believe in anything that has to do with emotion. Like emotion has no part of a game. When hell, you could play a pickup game at the damn Y. Emotion is a part of the game. But they don't believe that and refuse to even consider that it's a real thing. They won't even discuss it as being a real thing. Yeesh. Oh, well. If we go off of nerd and stats, the nerd stats, and that means Sam Howell was a good QB last year. Exactly. That's what everybody talks about is that Sam Howell had a good year last year in the NFL. And I'm like, did you watch football? Did you watch Commanders play football last year? But I'm getting off on a tangent. I apologize. I don't want to do that. That's a conversation for a different day, different time. I like Luka over Ant-Man right now as far as star power. But you give it another. If they win, if Minnesota wins, you know, he'll overtake Luka. But I will say this: if Luka goes to the NBA Finals, his star is going to shoot to the stratosphere. Yeah, buddy. Being in Dallas, the DFW area, Luka, yeah, his star will shoot to the stratosphere. So, same with Tyrese Haliburton. I think Jason Tatum is already close, but they got to win the title because they've been there so many times and they've been to the conference final. They got to win an NBA title. But if Tyrese Haliburton goes to the NBA finals, his star goes through the roof as well. So I'm excited for all of this to get started. Starts tonight, Boston and Indianapolis. Or Indiana, I should say. I love it. It starts tonight. Let's move on, people. Let's move on. Again, as always, as a reminder, Big B Daily is 9 a.m. Central Time, Monday through Friday. Also, keep in mind, people, I know if you're not a Steelers fan, and most of you aren't, don't be jealous. Look, God touched me to be a Steelers fan. It's not y'all's fault. It's not y'all's fault. But if you are, you're not, if you like good sports content and want some good football content, remember to go and subscribe on YouTube and all social media platforms to Steelers Almighty. We have been doing this for just over a month now. We got a new episode coming out today. So Steelers Almighty is a new platform that we have started. A lot of good content on there. Make sure you go and subscribe and follow, like all that good stuff on all social media platforms. And on any podcast where you get a podcast, you can find Steelers Almighty there as well. So make sure you do that. As a quick reminder, Thursday, I will not be having a show on Thursday morning. I will be out of town. I've got to give my brother's scholarship away, the Robert O. Hanley Jr. Memorial Scholarship. I give it away to our high school every year. We started it 4 years ago in my brother's memory. So I will not be able to give or have a show. I will be there giving that away. I'll be back and we'll have one on Friday, but on Thursday, we will not have a show. So I just want to make sure that everybody understands. If you don't see us, don't look and wonder where we are. We're not going to have a show on Thursday. So I apologize. I apologize, but we're doing it for a good cause. For a good cause.